Hello, this is David William Weissner, and this is another episode of David Speaks. Tonight, we're going to be talking about lying. You know, my whole life, I've tried not to lie, and I certainly, as an adult, really never do it unless it's absolutely impossible to not hurt somebody's feelings by it. Meaning, there are certain kind of lies that maybe are necessary, like a white lie. If your wife asks you how she looks in a certain dress, you don't want to say, "Oh, that's really ugly, honey." You know, you might want to temper that down a little bit. But in general, lies are some of the worst things you could do. They're the basis of every sin. Lying is a sin, and there's karma for it, and it's more than karma. When you lie about something, you create like a web, like a spider's web that you're gonna have to fight your way through one day, and it'll come back to you every time. Please try not to lie to anybody about anything at any time. Lying is the way to sin, meaning every other sin you do, whether it be murder or burglary or rape or assault or whatever it is, those things we are aware those are sins. But you have to lie really to effectively get away with any of those things. So lying is like the gateway to everything evil in your life. Don't lie. Don't lie at all. Um, I've been doing these videos about 5 months now, and I'm here to talk to you about things that I take very seriously in my life, and I hope you take it seriously in your life. I studied these things basically since I was 19. But when I was young, I studied science a lot. And I mean, like in my teens, 12, 13, 14, I thought the answer was science. I was always looking for God. I was always looking for the answers. I was always praying to God for wisdom, for love, you know. And I found love in my life at different times. But, you know, I had a polyamorous relationship when I was in college. And let me show you how this works in. And and it was with two beautiful women who knew about each other, but I didn't lie. I didn't lie, and that was what made it okay. Meaning they could do what they wanted, I could do what I wanted. And I think in life, you know, I don't know if there's real monogamy going on in this world. Monogamy is something that is put onto us um, by society, but it isn't real. Meaning, everybody, if they don't cheat, thinks about cheating, and that leads to more lying. So, if you get married to someone and you're young, and you think you can't be celibate, not celibate to them, I call it celibate to them, but it means monogamous to somebody, don't lie. Just have an open marriage. And relationship I was in, the girl said to me, "I don't care what you do with whoever, just don't tell me about it." And I did the same thing to her, and that was our relationship. And it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt, because there's jealousy, and that's what brings the violence. I knew, and I was with a beautiful girl in Newport for one night, and she was polyamorous, and I really didn't think about it at that point. But she told me monogamy is violent. It's violence. And I've never heard that before, but it really has stayed with me all these years. Monogamy is violent because if you're married to someone or going out with somebody, I've seen people just look at someone as woman and almost get punched in the face. You don't own anybody. Nobody owns you. Okay? You're free. You know, there's a book I read many years down before tonight, many years ago, called The Red Queen. and it's an anthropology book. And in this book, it explains exactly what the human race does sexually. It wasn't like Kinsey. The Kinsey reports were really weird, and they had all kinds of crazy shit going on down in the basements of that college. But this was done by scientists. Okay, real scientists without a stake in it. And what they did is they didn't follow people around. They had surveys and they interviewed people on condition of anonymity, so that they would get a real survey. So this is what people do. People act like birds. The red queen, and they play the red queen. It has to do with bees or ants. I'm not really sure, but um, this is what human beings do. And what they do is they seek one really true partner to them, one person they are madly in love with, they want to spend their life with and share life and do things with them and have possibly have children with them and build a life with them. And they have affairs on the outside. Men and women both do this. Men and women both do this. And this is what's observed in birds too. A lot of people say, oh, look at the lovebirds and they pair for life. And they do. And so do humans. But they like outside action, we can call it, also. And this is the way everybody acts. I'm not saying everybody cheats on their wife, because they don't. And I certainly didn't when I was married for less than 2 years. It was a bad marriage, but I would never cheat on her because I believed in that moral code. But here's the thing: everybody thinks about it. Okay, don't bullshit yourself. If you're with somebody for 30 years, 40 years, don't give me this bullshit. You've never thought about somebody else, because it doesn't exist like that. Monogamy is a lie. So don't stop lying about it. You know, if you want a monogamous relationship, you want to try it. Let's say give it 5 years, give it 10 years. You know, I was once friends with this older woman. She was very nice, and she was very smart. She was this not astrologer, a numerologist, and she thought that people should have term limits on their terms on their marriage certificates, like take it out for 10 years, for 15 years, for 20 years, for 5 years. And then if you still want to be married, then you could renew it. I thought that was interesting. I'm not saying I totally believe in it, but I think it's food for thought. You can put it out there. So here's the thing: nobody's monogamous on this planet. They want one amazing person and then affairs on the side. That's what birds do. That's what people do, and that's what we do. And if you don't think that's true, you're lying to yourself and to your partner. And if you're watching it with someone and you turn to each other and you say, "Nah, that's bullshit. I just want you, honey," you're lying right now. And lying is the worst thing you can do to a relationship. You know, there are different cultures. I come from an American culture, which is kind of still in a weird Victorian way. I don't know. I don't know how kids are doing it today. They're just. I'm 55. I've been through the wars of love. I've been through it all. Okay, and honestly, right now, I think I'd be happy with just one person, maybe for the rest of my life. You know, I've sowed my wild oats. I've done crazy shit. I've been with lots of girls. I don't need to do that anymore. But who knows? You know, everyone should have free will to do what they want and to talk about their relationship before it happens. Meaning, discuss it with your partner. Maybe you want a threesome with a man or a woman or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. God doesn't see anything wrong with that. There could be threesomes, foursomes, moresomes, whatever there is. It doesn't matter. As long as it's consenting people doing this, it's fine. I believe God has no problem with that. So, and most of my girlfriends always wanted or interested in, at least if it didn't happen, to try a woman. They had those desires to be with women also. So that worked out well for me. And I never had a desire to be with a man and a woman, or even a man alone, ever. I'm just straight. I'm a straight guy. So everybody's who they are. Don't lie about who you are either. If you're gay, just be gay. If you're bi, be bi. If you're pansexual, not even sure what that means, but I know what it means. Be pan, be whatever you want, but don't lie about it. Just be truthful. Be loving. Be love. Be loving. Be fun. Sex is supposed to be spiritual and fun and loving. Just don't lie about it, and I think everything will be better off. All right, that's all I want to say for tonight. Have a beautiful night. Goodbye.